Janis, welcome to the Tako Talk Podcast. I really appreciate you doing this. And like I said, I reached out to you because of your background. And I think you posted something on LinkedIn. And I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. So I just wanted to have you on here. You're also in the e-commerce world. I'm in the e-commerce world. And so go ahead and give people a little bit of an intro of what you do and any value you bring to whatever you're doing, you know, Amazon and all the good stuff that you're working on.
Hey, Tako. So happy to be here. I'm from Victoria, British Columbia. I'm actually a police officer up here. So I started Amazon as a side gig a long time ago. And I started, you know, I was kind of bored on my days off because policing, I was doing 2 days, 2 nights, 4 off. And I was like, whoa, my kids are older. They're back in school. I'm like, what am I going to do on these 4 days off? Especially when it was during the week and my kids are at school. And I'm like, Janis is bored. So I was looking on YouTube and I found this really cool thing called Amazon FBA. And I know there's so many acronyms. So Amazon FBA is fulfilled by Amazon, which means you kind of send everything to Amazon, products you want to sell, and they sell it for you. Did you know that anybody can sell on Amazon? I did not know that.
Yeah, I was aware of that. Yeah, I was aware of that.
I didn't way back when. So when I first discovered it, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. And then I discovered RA, which is also retail arbitrage, about 4 years ago. I'm like, okay, wait. You mean I can go shopping, find items on sale, so I satisfy that urge to really shop, and then I can resell for more money? I was like, boom!
Explode head emoji.
It was so much fun. And I started making money and I was like, whoa. And my husband's like, okay, so you're getting paid to go shopping? I'm like, yes, I buy stuff on sale. I resell it on Amazon, and then I started buying it in Canada on Canadian dollars and reselling Amazon States for American, which is like, you know, 10 cents Canadian is like $1 American or something like that.
Yeah.
The exchange rate, right? It's crazy.
Crazy.
So I was doing that for a while, and I'm like, okay, this is fun. But in the Amazon world, there's this thing called the buy box, which means if you are the seller on the listing and they click buy it, you get the sale. But sometimes retail arbitrage with buying stuff on sale and reselling it, there'll be a lot of sellers on the same listing. And I hated the competition. I'm like, this sucks. So I was like, okay, what can I do now? And then I discovered private label.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I started developing my own brands, and we can talk about that later. I have 2 brands, and I'm a bit different than Amazon sellers. I have no qualms talking about what my brands are and the names and everything and what I sell. So I've developed 2 6-figure brands now. Everything was growing exponentially. Remember, this was a side gig.
Right.
Okay? And then I was like, okay, wait, this is kind of fun. And I was like, okay, how am I going to grow my business more? So I was expanding off of Amazon and doing sales funnels and stuff. And then I got hurt. Okay.
Oh, on the job?
On the job.
Okay.
So imagine this. Okay. I'll tell you a story. Up here in Canada, I work by myself. So I was in uniform by myself on patrol, and a call came through. A guy had just had his laptop stolen at about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And he was tracking it on his iPhone, which it happens quite often. He's like, okay, my laptop is northbound on this street. The person my laptop just took a left turn. And I was listening to this on the radio. So I'm like, I think I know where this guy is going, because I knew the area.
Okay.
So I tucked my police car in. And I just waited, and I was only there for about 30 seconds. And then I see a guy pop up from behind a building, all dressed in black backpack, hat on, pulled down low. And I'm like, oh, that's gotta be the guy. So I get on my phone, like, police, stop. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is gonna be bad. And the chase was on.
Oh man.
So Zaka, my 20-year-old brain told my 47-year-old body at the time, wearing 22 pounds of gear, that it was a smart idea to chase this person. I should have waited for K9.
Yeah.
So Janis is humping it down the road, chasing this guy, going, what am I doing? I'm radioing in where I am. I get the guy cornered. I'm like, okay, this is good. I'm like, just stay where you are. And I'm waiting for another partner or somebody to show up. And then it's that look again. He looks at me, and I know he's high on drugs. You can tell from the eyes and how he's reacting. And I look at him, and I'm like, oh no, this is just going to be bad again. And he comes up the hill, hops the fence at me where I am. I go to grab him, and we both turn together and fall on pavement in the parking lot. So now I've got my ripped pants, blood coming out of my knees. He's fallen, dropped the backpack with the laptop in it, by the way.
Okay.
And then he takes off running again. And luckily at that time, my partner came in and started chasing him and taking over the chase. And there was a taser involved. There was pepper spray. Eventually he came around the building and I kind of knew where I was going. So I went across the road and had my gun out and said, okay, enough, get down the ground. I yelled, I'm not going to yell on a podcast.
Yeah.
But after we got him arrested and stuff and the adrenaline came out of my system, I was like, uh-oh, I really just hurt myself bad. And about 2 months later, I was walking with a cane because of the chronic pain in my back just went, and my career was over right there. Boom.
Oh, man.
And I'm sure you have people listening to this podcast where a life-changing event has happened, especially with COVID going on right now and businesses crashing there.
Yeah.
And you've had to pivot, right? Well, it was at that moment I had to pivot, but it took me a couple months. I went through a depression and I went through, is there anything else I can do besides being a cop? Because I had that cop mentality. I'm like, I only know how to catch bad guys. Like, what can I do, right?
Right.
And then I was like, okay, wait, I can do Amazon and I love it. I have a teaching degree from 20 years ago. So I'm like, why don't I start teaching people to develop brands like I do? So that's what I do now. And so we have e-commerce Queen Bee, and I help other people develop brands and pivot and sell on Amazon. And it is so much fun.
Damn, that's amazing. That is like one of the best stories. I need to just literally clip that out and make that its own little thing. Like we can even end the podcast right there and I think everybody would be really happy.
But can you just imagine just hopping it down the road going, oh, this is all bad. I'm too old to be doing this.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So, so when you go into this whole Amazon world and you start going down always call something the rabbit hole, because when I get focused on something, I'm just like deep down, head down, let's go this way. Nothing else matters. How quickly after obviously this happened before your police career was, quote unquote over. How long did it take you to actually, let's say make your first sale and then see it as like, oh, this is actually a business that I can actually work on?
Well, when I started with retail arbitrage, because I always recommend that people kind of start with that just to see what Amazon's about. A
lot less risk as well.
It is. And it takes a little bit to figure out the shipping and putting your own labels on it and starting your own store and getting approved and stuff. So really, I had my first sale in a month. But I'm probably like you. I go headlong into things. I'm more of a doer. And I make a list of, okay, I have to do this today. As long as I can get these things done today, I can do the next step tomorrow. And it's step by step. I don't look at the whole picture.
Of course.
Step by step.
And how are you, because I know sometimes there's different, tools and different things that you can use, like, people are using task management tools, people are using shipping apps, people are using, everything across. Are you a hand on paper type of person? Did you go all tech based, or did you just kind of figure everything out at once type of thing? Because I know for me at some point it was, oh, there's a tool to do that. And it's like, at some point you get oversaturated with tools and you just kind of need to like weave things out. How did you organize yourself? Because I think that's a big piece too, because you can go deep into something and then not think about, let's say, registering a business or doing this or doing that. Like, how did you get into that whole thing? Or where's your knowledge come from, I guess?
So I guess I've changed a lot. So back then I wasn't even cell phone calendar, because trust me, I've missed my share of court dates because I lose what it is in my calendar. So I was paper calendar way back when.
Okay.
Started with that. And then I was like, okay, I'm trying to keep up here, but people were sending me invites on my phone and I was trying to figure out how just to accept them. So it goes into that calendar. So now I use my calendar. I am huge into having a whiteboard. I'm not in my office today, but I usually have a whiteboard right behind me because I'm a very visual person. I like just writing things down, mapping things out, especially if I'm building a sales.
Let me show you. I think you'll appreciate this. There's a see those little boxes. Yeah, there you.
Just made my day.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm out. Ciao. I'm a whiteboard person.
Yeah, I'm like, an idea comes in, I'm like straight to this whiteboard over here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I love my whiteboard. But you know what I do now? Because I have people working for me now, right?
Okay.
Commerce Queen Bee. I use Trello.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm an Asana user myself.
Love Trello. Asana's the same thing.
Right. Pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So Trello, it's all about a work board, and I have my marketing team down in California, down in right outside of LA, but they have virtual assistants in the Philippines, and we all work on the same Trello board. So the time zones and everything doesn't affect us, and we all have to-do lists. And like there's one column on Trello that says Janis's to-do list, which keeps me in line, and they tell me what to do, and they can link where I have to go right off there, like whether it's a Google Drive or
of course
Airtable with some things with Facebook creatives. So I go into there, I do what I have to do, and I'm like, okay, I've done mine. And then I drag my box over to their bucket, right? Review what they have to do. And we just drag things back and forth.
That's beautiful. That's exactly how we do it. The Kanban style board. Yeah. No, that's really awesome. Yeah, I think that's, and how big is your team overall? I mean, how many people are working for you?
Well, I work here, and then my marketing team has 1, 2, 3 people.
Oh, very nice.
People, right? I'm very much all about the gig economy.
Okay, perfect.
I don't have so my marketing team is kind of full time, but they use virtual assistants, and I like 2-3 hours a week kind of thing. And then I've got a couple people on Fiverr that I use all the time. I don't build websites. I don't know how to. I have no interest in it. So I've got a person that does that, but I hire them by gig or by task, which has allowed me to scale. And I know you've probably talked about that in podcasts. You can't do everything yourself.
Correct. Absolutely.
So my value, I look at my time, I'm like, okay, so say my time is $40 an hour, right? I have to learn it, figure out how to do it and do it. And usually I can figure it out. I'm probably not, it doesn't come out very good. So say I've got a task, it's going to cost me 10 hours to do, which is $400, but I can pay somebody $100 to do it who knows how to do it, has the expertise. Well, it's a no-brainer to me. Here's the $100. Get that done faster. I'm going to go out on my boat for the weekend. See you later. And I'll come back and get it after.
I love it. I love it. That's exactly how my brain works. I talk to many people about the same thing. It's like you have to know when to delegate and when to take it on yourself. Although I do believe that if you want to get it right, in certain cases, you have to do it yourself. But then there's things where it's like repetitious or some sort of automation or something like that, where you just say, hey, listen, this is how you do it. Give somebody like a manifest and, take it on from here and do your thing. And that's really awesome. And is your marketing team, did you hire some sort of like agency that like does this sort of thing, or just individual people that are kind of in the same geographical area?
No, I have an agency who does it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. And then do they do a lot of like Facebook ads and different things like that for you?
They do all my Facebook ads, YouTube thumbnails. They build all my sales funnels. We're starting into YouTube ads now. They do almost everything for me.
That's awesome. And where do you see most of your traffic coming from?
Right now, Facebook ads.
Facebook ads, huh?
And then organic, like going on podcasts like yours. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Facebook groups. I belong to a couple of Facebook groups. I have my own Facebook group when people come in, and we just started to do weekly question and answers where I pop on like every Monday into my Facebook group, and you get Janis, whatever you have any questions about, I try to answer, or at least find the answer for you if I don't know it.
That's awesome. And what would you estimate your overall kind of, let's call it a following to be, your network of these people across like the different social media channels? Do you have a good like following in terms of all that, or how does that scale on your end?
Sorry, meaning size of Facebook group or Facebook groups I belong to?
Facebook groups you either belong to or the ones that you're hosting, and also like your Instagram channels and your YouTube channel and all that stuff. Like, what is your audience numbers like roughly? Do you get a lot of your stuff from YouTube? I would imagine YouTube is probably like one of the bigger ones organically.
Yes. Well, everything's just growing right now because e-commerce Queen Bee just launched.
Okay.
So I get about 5 subscribers a day with my YouTube channel. So it's growing quite nicely.
Nice.
That's the big one because YouTube is a search engine, which is amazing. So say I'm on Google, I'm like, what is Amazon FBA? Well, if you have a video just like that, it's going to come up in the search results because Google owns YouTube.
Right. Absolutely.
So I've got videos just growing exponentially depending on what the video topic is and what people are looking for. Amazon's a hot topic right now, especially selling on Amazon and starting your own store, because people have had to pivot. It's been a retail apocalypse, I call it.
Right. It has been. It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Brick and mortar stores, you've got to pivot or you're going to close your doors. Like, it's been so tough. So by being able to have a product or doing retail arbitrage and selling on Amazon, you can still bring in the online sales and everything. Right?
Yeah, I feel like exactly. I feel like retail's going into like either being like, if it's a specific product, being one of those showcases, like a pop-up shop for quickly, that you need to have some sort of quick presence. Maybe you're doing like a road show or something like that, and then you move everything online. Basically, that's how I kind of see things unveiling, especially all this COVID thing stuff.
Oh, I
So.
definitely. Or the pop-up shops on Facebook. I've been watching that too, and I haven't done it yet, but I know a lot of friends who are at MLM are starting to do the pop-up parties and Facebook Lives and everything, and they're selling that way.
And what has your been on YouTube? What has been like your biggest, I guess, surprise in terms of you posted something you're like, oh, I didn't anticipate this sort of response. Like, is it Amazon related or is it?
Amazon mistakes. People
Oh,
love to see that you aren't the guru of everything, that you make mistakes and you're authentic. So if you're going to put
ah,
it out there, so I talk about one. Okay. Can I tell you a story? Another one?
yeah. Tell me as many stories as you'd like.
Do you know Fortnite? Come on.
Hmm.
Okay.
Of course, of
So
course.
my,
I'm not a gamer. I'm not a gamer, but I know Fortnite.
you know Fortnite. So my
Yep.
at the time 15-year-old nephew, when it came out, I have a 15-year-old son and a 15-year-old nephew. They kind of live together in the same house. I live with my sister. It's a whole long story, but it works out really well.
Okay.
So both of the kids were huge into Fortnite, and I was watching this. I'm like, oh my gosh, all they can think about is Fortnite and the or the llama, and I'm just watching these guys just get sucked right into it, right? And I'm like, I wonder if I can make money on this, right?
Yeah.
So without even asking, silly me, I'm like, I bet, and of course I didn't confirm this, I bet these kids short form it to Fort. They don't, by the way. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to short form it to Fort. And Supreme was really big at the time too, Supreme clothing. So I'm
Yep.
like, I'm going to make hoodies that say Fort in the Supreme lettering across. And I'm going to sell them on Amazon. Fortnite has a lot of really big lawyers.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I ordered 250 hoodies. I thought they were pretty cool. First of all, I should have verified with the kids that, yes, the kids think Fortnite, short form for Fort, is pretty cool. It's not. Second of all, I probably should have realized that if I use the word Fortnite in my listing on Amazon, I'm going to have lawyers come at me. And that's exactly what happened. It would have got cease and desist letters. And I sold about half the hoodies before this happened, but I had to pull all my stock, which was in the States. So it's a little bit more expensive to get it back to Canada. And then I didn't know what to do because I couldn't sell it on Facebook Marketplace because the lawyers monitor that. Couldn't sell it on eBay. The lawyers monitor that. I was like, what am I going to do with these hoodies? And let's just say there's a lot of people with secondhand store that have a lot of Fort hoodies walking around because I just took the whole truckload and got rid of them at Value Village. And the reason I did that is I had them sitting in my office for about a month, not knowing what to do. And the sense of guilt and looking at it and failure that hit me in the face every day, looking at all this box, I was like, this is not helping me. Yes, I made a mistake. Yes, I'll grow from it. Yes, I really screwed up. I have to get rid of these hoodies. So I did a video on that because people love to see that you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone, I think vulnerability nowadays is a very big topic. Like being vulnerable to your mistakes, to your business, to what you know, you don't know. I always, the first thing that always comes to my mind, a client comes to us and it's like, well, you guys are the experts. Shouldn't you know? Be like, whoa, hold on. Like, just because we're the experts doesn't mean we know everything. Like, I don't even know everything about myself at this point. How am I supposed to know?
You know, if you're not failing, you're not growing.
I completely agree. And what outside of that, what was your other like biggest failure in the Amazon thing? Do you have another one that you're just like, oh, I wish I never, or not wish I never did that because you don't want to, the failure is a good thing at that point. But what is one thing that you're like, oh, I can't believe how miserably that took a dump on me?
Patents.
Patents.
Patents and trademarks are really interesting because you have to have a patent in whatever country you're selling on. So down in the States, I have a brand called No Straw Challenge. I don't like plastic straws. I don't like that poor video of that turtle with the straw coming out of its nose. It just breaks my heart, right?
I'm a huge animal person, so I completely agree with you.
So yeah, so my 13-year-old, I started No Straw Challenge, and she's very much a unicorn. So we have unicorn rainbow stainless steel straws and a whole line of them, right? That's what's selling on Amazon and off Amazon. Well, I was looking at Asia to get some new products, and I saw they have foldable straws.
Okay.
Right? They're really cool. I was like, okay, these foldable straws are neat. They're silicone. They fold up. You can carry them in a case. You just pop it out. It's like a tent pole, or a blind man's cane. It just pops right out like that.
Right.
Like, awesome. So I got those into Canada, which was okay because I did verify that there was no patents in Canada. It only took about 5 months. And again, I had, 3,000 straws, some rainbow unicorn straws, all foldable, sitting in a shipping container. And I get another cease and desist letter. Our patent has come through in Canada, and there's a whole bunch of questions. It was like, how many do you have left? What are you selling them for? Blah, 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 blah. And luckily I have a little bit of a police background. I was reading the letters from the lawyer, because they even wanted me to tell them who my manufacturer was, what other sellers are selling them. Like, there was a huge list.
Yeah.
And I know my rights in Canada. So I wrote them back saying, thank you very much. I will pull my own product off of Amazon because that's all I'm required to do. And I will not answer any other questions unless you have a judicial authorization.
Oh, nice. And they never answer back.
No, you need a warrant to find that information. I'm not just going to give it up.
Right.
But I still have like a lot of foldable straws in my shipping container that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. Right. I think the company who got it down in the States, which I think is the Final Straw, and good on her, but she didn't have the patent in Canada when I ordered and started selling them. But when she got it, I had to pull all my stock again. So it's just, you have to be really aware of patents and trademarks outstanding. And yes, I checked Canada, but I should have known that the patent in the States, that her lawyers were applying for the one in Canada.
Right. Because everyone's pretty much trying to do the cross-border thing, especially within Canada. So, exactly. Wow, interesting. Very interesting. Have you tried selling it to her?
I know, eh? So, you know what? I was selling mine for like $10, and hers are like $25, $30 or something.
Oh, that's probably also the other reason why she caught on so quickly, because you were undercutting her prices.
And the other thing is, with the manufacturers in Asia, they're not bound by that. They're going to copy anything, right? So people are like, you're going to spend a ton of money in a trademark or a patent. Patents especially. If you have something new, sure, but you have to have a patent in every country you launch the product in. So I'm like, that's a lot of lawyer money. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of lawyer money. No, that's really amazing. So are you on to any new projects tell me actually about the No Straw Challenge, and then tell me about the trace bags, because I saw that was another thing. I'm really interested because I think those are really, really cool products.
So, like an animal lover like yourself. So No Straw Challenge, about 4 years ago, my family and I just done a huge fundraiser here in Canada where I bicycled from the north of Vancouver Island all the way to the south of Vancouver Island. It was about just over 1,000 kilometers to raise money for kids who are fighting cancer to go to camp. Right? We raised 1.3 million, our team of cops, which I thought was amazing.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, and we sponsored camp for kids, right? But it took a lot out of me. I was emotionally exhausted after that. I trained for about 6 months. And then riding down and hearing all the stories of the kids with cancer just totally wiped me out. So when I got home, I was like, okay, we're out. So I took my husband and my 2 kids, and we went down to Costa Rica for a month. I've always wanted to go there. I love Costa Rica because of how eco-friendly it is and how pura vida they call it, and how they're just really in tune with nature, and you just really get to slow down. And that's what I need. But down there, we're at a restaurant, and my daughter finally looks at me. She's like, Mom, you know there's something weird here. And I'm like, I don't know what. She's like, well, look around. And this is her name's Izzy. And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, there's no plastic straws. And I'm like, you're right. I'm sitting here drinking out of a bamboo straw. And I'm like, well, so then we started doing a bit more research. And then she showed me that video of the turtle. So that was like, bing, 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 entrepreneur mind. I'm like, okay, wait, we have a lot of plastic straws in Canada. Straws were just starting to become banned. I think Seattle was the first city that did it. So we brought No Straw Challenge up to Canada. And again, this was 3 years ago we started this brand. And we did the whole line of reusable straws. I promote not using a straw, but if you have to use a straw, then use a reusable straw and take it with you. Right. So that brand, it flew off the shelves. It was awesome, right? Right now, we're at a very interesting time with that brand because it's like the fidget spinner. If you're in the fidget spinner at the beginning,
Right, the little, yeah.
yeah. If you come into the fidget spinner 3 years later, the market is saturated. The
Right.
reusable straws right now is becoming a saturated market, which is something you have to watch as an entrepreneur. Yes, you can love your product, but you do have to take a step outside and look at the whole big picture, because if you can't get your premium price, and I'm a true believer in making your product premium, if you can't get that price anymore, you might as well wean off the product.
Right, right.
So we're just at that point with No Straw Challenge, but just trying to make some decisions about it. But it was an awesome family project. My son did the logos. My daughter's the unicorn. We have the whole line of unicorn straws. So much fun.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was our first brand.
That's amazing.
So, and you're going to laugh at me at the second brand. So remember, I'm a police officer. And living in Canada, marijuana became legal. Okay. I hate the smell of marijuana. Like, it makes my nose itch. It actually, there's something in it, the terpenes or something. It's not the cigarette, it's not the smoke, it's the fresh marijuana. Like, I can actually, I'm imagining it right now.
Wow.
There's something about it that just, it's so strong. And I hated walking down the street and with my kids, and they're like, oh, Mom, what's that skunky smell? And having to explain it. Right? If a person walks past me with a pocket full of fresh marijuana or cannabis, I totally know it's in their pocket.
Right. It makes you a good police officer too.
Yeah, it's so strong. And then it permeates your vehicles, your clothes, backpacks, everything. So I was like, well, there's got to be something to hide this smell. So like, people aren't judging you if you do choose to use it, which I'm not against it at all, right? Because it helps a lot of people.
Of course. But
if you choose to use it, and there's a lot of judgy people out there, what can you do or care? Like, what can you have to carry the product in? So I discovered no trace bags, which are bags lined with carbon material, and the molecules actually attract the cannabis smell molecules, and it makes them smell-proof or go away. It absorbs it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we started with no trace bags. So we started with a little bag called the Joey, named after my sister Chihuahua, because it's nice and little small. We give them away for free, just pay for shipping and handling at notracebags.com /free. And then we have a bigger one with a lock on it, because I don't think kids should be into marijuana.
Right.
It's an 8x11 with a lock on it. And then I just launched a backpack.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And that can work for camping too, if you gotta, hide your food from bears or anything like that.
Oh, so there's definitely multi-use.
Definitely multi-use.
And what do most people use it for? Do you get some sort of reviews? Cannabis. Okay, perfect. That's a good industry. That's a good, I always think about the cannabis industry is like, you can go in and start selling a bunch of pot and doing the growing and all this other stuff. I think that's, like you said, saturated. That's a market that everyone's trying to get into. I think there's that sideways entrance somewhere that you can get in and be like, hey, I have a product that helps you guys. I'm not trying to tap into your market, but I have something that actually really, really works. That's really cool. I'm impressed.
We sell them on Amazon, that whole brand, but we're using sales funnels now too to sell them. And I'm just starting in the influencer market, and we're just building an affiliate program.
Oh, very awesome. Very awesome. That's cool. And do you get them manufactured in Asia as well, or? Oh, that's awesome. And so tell me on that topic, I'm really curious because I've done a couple of things where I had a business where we do socks on subscription basis. Like,
so much fun.
Yeah, like 6-7 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer. And so I have a little bit of experience with that. I don't go out of my way to, go and build my own products and all this. How long is that process usually for you, from the time that your idea comes to mind, you're like, hey, I want to get this done, to the point receiving your products and all this other stuff? Like, take me kind of through that life cycle, because I think that's really interesting. I think that brings a lot of value to people, especially if they, if they are looking to do stuff on Amazon, and, you can go with the retail side of things. But I think a lot of people want to brand their own thing because it allows them to have their own individual direct-to-consumer website, but they can also use it on Amazon and still have that brand throughput through the entire thing.
Exactly. Well, first of all, I'm a total believer in building a brand, not just doing one-offs, because the thing with brand is you can build it up and then you have an exit strategy, because you've built a real product brand that you can sell and has value after. Okay?
Absolutely.
So I guess the first thing you do is you try and find a product idea. And then I know in my course, I have a product workbook it helps you develop ideas. And I always look around myself, like, just like what I said is I look with an entrepreneur lens, like what is going on? Straws, perfect. Okay. I can see that coming. Smelly marijuana, hate the stuff. Okay. So I'm getting ideas from around me and in my life, because then I can market it, right? Because I believe in it.
That's exactly how things come to my mind as well. That's a good mindset.
Exactly. Like my husband's a car guy. I can't sell car parts for the life of me, but
Right.
he is a huge performance automotive guy, and he loves performance automotive parts. So he can sell that. Right. But then I come with an idea and then I crunch the numbers. So is there actually a market for it? I don't launch anything unless I know the numbers are there, or it's a hobby, right? You have to be able to make money because you're going to invest. And I tell people when they're getting into this, yes, you can start as a side gig, but you're going to need real money to launch a product. And I usually average about $6,000 to launch one product.
Okay.
So I get that right out there. I'm like, you guys, this is real money. You're developing business. And then set up your business with the background, like sole proprietor, incorporation. We go through all of that. Set it up as a real business. So then you have a product idea. You run them numbers. You're like, okay, wait, I can make money on this. I can double my money. So you're like, how am I going to find the product? I don't manufacture, right? I have no interest in it.
Right.
So I go to Asia or Thailand, or I look around locally to find a manufacturer that I can white label or private label. Alibaba is a huge one that a lot of people use, alibaba.com.
Right.
And go there, and Alibaba sells a whole bunch of items, anything you can imagine that you can put your own brand on it.
Yep. Very familiar with Alibaba. Yeah.
Exactly. So when I look on Amazon, though, I don't want to sell the same thing as everybody on Amazon. I want to differentiate it. So I put my brand on it, but how else can I differentiate, make it premium packaging? Like, what else can you offer with it to make it more valuable to your customer? And you got to remember, you're not buying for yourself, you're buying for your customer.
Of course.
Right. So that's really knowing who your customer is at the beginning. And it just takes some thinking and some, go on Facebook, ask people, ask questions. Hey, what do you guys think about this? What would you be looking for? Right. Doing the research. So then you find Alibaba, you're like, okay, there's 3 manufacturers on here. I get samples because I want to hold this item in my hand. I want to test it, and I want to pre-sell it on Facebook Marketplace or something to see if the market's actually there.
Okay.
So then I get the product sample sent to me. It's usually about $50 American a sample, or sometimes there's freight forwarders over there. And I know I don't want to overwhelm your audience, but they can bring all the samples together and send it to you.
Of course.
And I take my sample and I really look at it. Do I like it? Is there issues of what has to be fixed, right? And how can I make it better? And then once I pick a manufacturer, I go back and forth. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this?
Okay.
And change it, differentiate it. Because there's no point selling the same things everybody else does on Amazon, because it's just going to be a race to the bottom. Like, how are you going to make this different for your market? Once I get all that set, and I'm good with the manufacturer with the prices and stuff, then I say, okay, perfect. This is the packaging we're going to do. Can you send me the cardboard box outline? Because I usually do cardboard boxes, or I do a sticker on a plastic bag or something. Can you send me the size of the sticker? And that's where I go to my guy on Fiverr and say, hey, this is a product I'm launching. I need this packaging designed. And we go back and forth there. He designs it. And then I send it back to the manufacturer in Asia, and they will have everything set up for me, ready to sell the product right away. Like, they do all my packaging. We can talk about barcodes. I don't really want to talk about that now. We can on everything, and they ship it to me ready to sell. So then I get a whole bunch either shipped to, I have a warehouse in the States who I hire to do that, or shipped to in Canada. I've been shipping a lot to Canada right now because this free trade agreement that's going on, or this battle between China and the States, is gotten it expensive for a lot of people who are importing.
Of
course. I just Canada, and then I'll deal with it from there. And then I list on Amazon. I also list on, again, sales funnels like I talked about, Amazon. Where else do I sell it? I can sell locally. When we did the straws last summer, my son needed a job, so I was doing craft markets with him, and he was selling the straws at craft markets. I was paying hourly to go do that. So yeah, You have a
That's
product.
awesome. And what would you say, I don't know, let's take the no trace bags, because I think that's more of like a product that I think people on a day-to-day basis can somewhat relate to. What would you say from the time you had that idea where that smell started getting to you to the point that you actually got the product live? What was that life cycle like? Would you say it's a year period? Is it 6 months? Is it 3 months? Is it what would you average that out to
Probably
be?
have it launched, ready to go in 2 months. It's
Wow.
45 days is the longest is for shipping, but during that shipping time, there's so much you can do with regards to building your listing and getting photos and stuff like that. So
Of
probably
course.
2 months I can have a product launched.
That's amazing. That's really amazing because when you describe that whole process, and obviously let's not talk about the patents and all this other stuff. That's a whole nother ball game. But it sounds a lot longer because obviously there's But at the end of the day, knowing how to do it once or twice, you get efficient with it, and you know who to talk to immediately. Now, do you when you do okay? So we have straws, we have no trace bags, for example. Is there the actuality where you go through one manufacturer and say, hey, can you connect me with somebody that could do this for me? Or do you ever go to the same person for the same product just to minimize the amount of back and forth?
I always actually, once I find a manufacturer that I'm happy with, I stay with them. And
Okay.
then,
So with all your products.
yeah, well, no, I have a different manufacturer for straws. I have a different manufacturer for the
Okay.
bags, but I stay
Okay.
with them. I just go back and forth because I really get to know them. And then I can start making payment deals with them. Because usually when you pay, it's 30% to make the order and then 70% when it gets shipped. So now that I've dealt with the manufacturer long enough, I can do 30% when I make the order, 50% ship, 20%, 30 or 60 days after. You can start negotiating. The more you buy, I can get the lower price down. So that's why I form a relationship. Business is all about relationships.
Of course. Of
So
course.
I
And
form a
have you
relationship with that company.
and have you, because I know some people that have tried to do stuff on Alibaba, have you ever been to the point where somebody took your money and ran the other way?
No, Alibaba is quite, if you're paying through Alibaba trade assurance, you're protected. It's like
Okay.
paying PayPal.
Okay, maybe that was a few years back or something like that, because I remember but he was trying to, I think, just simply do t-shirts, and he sent somebody like a deposit or something and never heard back, never had any. Okay, well that's good. That's it.
Insurance is pretty strong right now. I wouldn't wire transfer. I only pay through trade insurance or PayPal just
Okay,
for that extra setup, that extra layer of protection.
of course. No, that's really, really
I have to say, I don't want to overwhelm the
right.
listeners now. Private label isn't that hard. It's just step by step by step. But everybody's like, go out and learn it all on YouTube by yourself. Well, I tried doing that. I was just like,
You're
overwhelmed.
a doer. You're a doer. You want to get it in your hands. You want to
Yeah,
do things with it. Yeah, that's
exactly.
exactly.
I'm a full proponent is find the right course for you, find the right person to mentor you, find a person that will answer your questions that you can go through, and find a person that has broken down the whole process. So it is a step by step by step. So you know what to do next, that you're not getting overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And just back to the other point, how many people right now are you currently helping out get this sort of business up and running for themselves, like some sort of white label? Like how many people are you, let's say, coaching or kind of helping with this sort of thing? Do you have a pretty big, laundry list of people that are knocking on your door and be like, hey, I want to do this. I have 1,000 ideas and I just need to get one of them off the ground type of thing?
I'm a bit picky. I like people who are doers.
Okay.
That when you have an idea, they're actually going to make it happen. And then I'm there for you and support you 100%.
Oh, perfect.
So
Perfect.
I always mentor my group who have my course because they pay, it's actually not, it's like $795 Canadian
Okay.
for the course. I mentor them, right? And we use a Slack mastermind group. And then I do live question and answers also every Monday. So.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. No, that sounds really awesome. No, I love this. I think a lot of people, especially now when they're, losing their jobs and trying to find something, like you said in the beginning, pivoting to something, even if you're an existing business, maybe you're, trying to cut down your costs on certain things. I mean, there's so many ways of becoming more efficient in that sense that I think that's really awesome, what you're doing. Now, do you yourself have a marketing background, or how did you kind of phase into finding somebody that you can actually trust and that was going to actually bring you results? Because there's a lot of people out there that just say, yeah, we're going to get you so much money through Instagram, so much money through Facebook. And then you turn around, you're like, well, I just spent $5,000 and I haven't seen percent come back from that, basically.
I do my background and I also go a lot by gut instinct when I meet people.
Okay.
I'm looking for a genuine, authentic person. I don't want that 28-year-old who is, you know, the guru of all, and they're doing Facebook ads in front of their private jet that they photoshopped in, or they've gone and rented a Lamborghini for a day. I'm sorry, right? I just look at that going, oh, no, 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 no. I think authenticity sells. It's a new currency.
Right.
I like marketing right now, and I don't really call it marketing. I call it just being myself. What you see is what you get, right?
Hence why I do this podcast in my t-shirt and my beard and
Like, I laugh because seriously, I'm running around today doing errands, and I was just about to go to Walmart, and I was like, oh no, I've got to do a podcast, and I was so excited about it. And I popped across the road. I'm in my sister's office right now. She has an office, saying, hey, can I borrow just a wall?
This is what I love. This is honestly, this is really awesome. I love
home, and it was my birthday this weekend, and for some reason I have to make my own birthday dinner. I have no clue how this happened.
Someone left you hanging for sure.
I know. I'm like, and of course we're having eggs Benedict. Love eggs Benedict on a portobello mushroom instead of the English. Oh,
look at that! Look at that! Another explosion.
It's so good. I really am all about the hollandaise sauce, but I'm actually in the midst of moving onto a boat right now.
Oh, wow.
My whole family. I love being around the ocean.
Oh,
so
you're a fish at heart.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of living in a house. So my husband and I bought a boat, and we're renovating it, and I'm moving him, myself, and my 2 kids and my 2 dogs on board a boat. So I spent the last 3 days on a boat just doing some repairs, and we went over to Anne, did some crabbing and stuff. It's a totally different lifestyle, but Amazon has allowed me to do this because have laptop will travel.
Right.
I have a laptop. You're probably the same way. I can do my business anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that. I got my best friend over here. This is Buddy.
Oh, he's so cute.
Hi, he's Buddy. Say hello.
Hi, Buddy.
He's like, no, I'm sleeping right now. Sorry, guys.
You bug off.
Somebody else said the other day, said that's your chief nap officer right there. I said, yes, exactly.
You know, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually had to be in this office because I have a coonhound, and when she hears anything, it's like, oh
yeah. He's the same way. If I do that to him, he starts talking the same exact way. No, that's really awesome. No, I think this is great. Is there anything else that people should know about, either whether it's Amazon, about you, how you can help them, or anything else? I think that this is really, really valuable content. Like, I think this is awesome for people, especially like I said earlier, getting into doing something for themselves, utilizing all these damn tools that we have instead of sitting on social media and just posting about, what they're having for lunch today, which is fine. But, there's ways to monetize this sort of stuff. And I'm always very, this is one of the reasons why I started the podcast, is just to learn from other people, because I've been running a business for a long time, learning from other people what they do, how they do it, and what drives them at the end of the day. Because I don't think everyone has drive. Everyone has ideas. But like you said, you're very picky about who you work with, because you want to know that they're a doer and that they're going to do the work, and not just sit back and hope that you're going to do this for them and drive the ship type of thing.
I want to hold them accountable. I get really frustrated if someone's always, I think I should do this. I think I should do this. I'm like, no, just go do it.
Analysis paralysis is real.
Go do it.
Yeah. Analysis paralysis is real.
I know. I think there's a couple things. I think if you have an idea in your head, you're doing a disservice to the rest of us by not getting it out there. I need to know what your idea and what your product is, because it's probably something I need in my life.
Oh,
right?
I love that.
Something that's going to make my life easier. So don't get paralyzed in your head. Take that idea and run with it. The worst thing that can happen, and I think people are worried about this, is you be like my Fortnite sweatshirts. Right? You learn from it though, and you move on.
It's the mistake that's going to cost you maybe a couple $1,000, if that. And at the end of the day, what's to it?
Learn from it is huge.
Exactly.
And you've done it the first time. So then your next product is easier and easier and easier as you grow your brand. So again, you're doing us a disservice if you're not getting your product idea out there. Please get your product idea out there, because again, I probably need it in my life to make my life easier. So that's the first one. Second, you're only one product away. I tell people.
Right.
Whether that be, and again, people define success different in their life. You're one product away from being whatever you define success as. For me, it's living on my boat. I don't need much. I'm very much a bit of a minimalist. right? I just need sunshine, maybe a crab trap or two, live on my boat, have my family around me. I don't need big mansions. I don't need this. So this lifestyle allows me to do that. Okay.
I
And
love
again,
it.
one product away from whatever you define as success. And if you're interested, check out, can I point below? I don't know where this is going.
It's going to be in the show notes. So you could definitely point below because on YouTube, it's going to be below. Yes, absolutely.
In the show notes. So I'm e-commerce queen bee, www.ecommercequeenbee.com. I do have a free bootcamp because I'm totally about giving out value. I love to give value to help people out, say, hey, look at this. This is some great ideas. This is what you have to do. This is all about Amazon, blah, blah, blah. So I have a free bootcamp going right now. It's for Canadians. However, it's totally applicable for Americans. Just ignore the tax part.
There you go.
It's a little bit different in Canada.
Right.
But I am going to come out with an American boot camp first, again, or soon. Again, it's free. And then I go from the boot camp, and then I do have a course. It's 56 videos on how to build a brand and how to list on Amazon and how to sell off of Amazon. And so it's 56 videos, and I think there's 10 bonus videos and a whole bunch of other bonus stuff on scaling and outsourcing. And I give you all the tools I use, like my Excel spreadsheet I use to crunch my numbers. Everything is in there. And you've got access to me. I love talking to people and helping them out. I was just answering one girl last night. We were doing Facebook messaging back and forth with questions. I'm there for you, right?
I love it.
That's all down below. So yeah, that's how you get a hold of me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then maybe one last question. Across all the different products that people are either reaching out to you about or anything like that, industry and category wise, what seems to be kind of on the uphill rise, if you don't mind sharing that with people? It could be something generic. You don't have to go into specifics. What do you see kind of, I know like workout stuff is very big right now, different things. Like, what do you see go as the upward trend where you start to make you think like, oh, this is interesting?
Yeah. Home office.
Home office, of course. Okay.
Everybody's working at home right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And home kitchen and anything to make people make their home better, because people are spending a lot of time in their houses right now. That's why the home improvement industry has blown up. Like, have you tried to hire a construction guy right now? You can't do it.
Right.
So anything about home and kitchen, home goods, anything to make the house better, because people are spending so much time in it, and home office. Of course, Christmas is coming up. I don't know when we're going to put out this podcast, but Q4 is huge, and that's toys. And this online market right now for Amazon, it's going to blow up this Christmas. Absolutely blow up, and we're already seeing that. So.
And then my idea that I'm gonna ask for your feedback on, a dog leash that has a hand warmer at the end of it when it's cold out.
Yes, please. I would love that. Can you just make it like a mitt?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, can you make it glow in the dark? You need a glow in the dark version.
There you go.
Because it gets dark.
I've been sitting on this. I'm one of those people. I've been sitting on this for like a year and a half, this idea that's been twirling around in my head. And I'm one of those people where I'm like, I always give it that like a little buffer period where I'm like, let me see if anybody else is in the same mind state. And I haven't seen anything come out yet. So I might need to contact you.
Glow in the dark is big right now, just because again, it's turning dark so fast. I'm out walking my dog. And I'm like, I can't see my dog because she's black.
Right.
Warm hand warmer because my hands get cold. Dog leash, glow in the dark. Brilliant. Would totally buy that.
There we go. There we go.
You're doing me a disservice by not making that product.
Hey, you might have just motivated me to get this going.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, Janis, thank you so much. What's the best place? Oh, go ahead.
First, though.
Huh?
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes, please do.
People out there, I don't think you realize how amazing these podcasts are. These people spend a lot of time doing them and providing so much value. So give a little back. Just throw down a review. I don't think people realize how important reviews are for podcasters. It really helps them. So if you've loved this podcast and you like Zlatko, you may not. I'm not going to force you. No offense.
Yeah, you don't have to like me.
Throw him a review, please. Yeah. Go to Apple, iTunes, Spotify, anything. Chuck a review. He'll be extremely grateful.
Yeah, and just talk about Janis. I'm perfectly okay with it. You don't even have to talk about me. I love it. I love it. Janis, thank you so much. This was really, really awesome. I may need to have you on for another episode at some point when you're on your boat, and I want to see a cool like background and like your dogs and everybody just having a great time. I think that would be really awesome.
This then.
Yeah, there you go. You might be on like, yeah. What's the best place for people to reach out to you? Is it through your course? Is it through LinkedIn? Do you have any specifics around that?
I do both. www.ecommercequeenbee.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me, or Janis at ecommercequeenbee.com, and it's Janis like Janis Joplin.
Okay, perfect. And we'll make sure to have that in the show notes, obviously. Thank you so much again. This was extremely awesome, and I'm looking forward to this being released, and then probably in the next week or so, and then I'll let you know. But this was fantastic. Thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it.
So much fun. Anytime. Bye, guys.
Bye.